If you die in the game, you die in real life.
If I die in the game, I'll die in real life.
Holy shit! If you die in the game, you die in real life.
Back in 2012, Sword Art Online took the anime world by storm. I know everyone gets a kick out of trashing it nowadays, but y'all not finna sit here and lie to me. When this anime came out, you were watching this, and anyone who missed it was either too young or you just wasn't tapped in like that. SAO presented what was at the time an extremely interesting and unique premise, and to give it credit, the way the story introduces the reader to these concepts was executed beautifully. So it makes you wonder, how did a show that made so much impact, a piece of art that to this day is still one of the most influential works to come out of the medium, simultaneously become the most hated anime of all time? Today, we'll be revisiting some of the key moments in Sword Art that took it from the top of the anime world to literally the bottom of the bucket.
Defeat the boss on floor 100, and you will clear the game.
Clear? What's he talking about?
Why should we believe any of the crap you're saying?
This nigga's stupid.
To keep it real with you, I love the first few episodes. Everything is so fresh, and it just has this atmosphere with these landscapes that seem almost impossible. SAO opens with this level of energy that just latches onto you and holds on for dear life. The attention to detail, the game mechanics, the sound effects. I'm watching this shit like, damn, can I play too? And this is where the problems start. The freshness and quality of something like SAO becomes a double-edged sword. And ultimately, this is the reason Sword Art became so hated. Not only did it fail to expand upon what made it so popular in the first place, it also completely diminished in quality as the show went on. However, I don't want you to think these first episodes are perfect, because I promise you, they are not. First of all, there are so many inconsistencies with the nerve gear, namely the fact that they were allowed to sell something that would literally kill you, or when Kirito states that you can't feel pain in SAO, just for that to suddenly change with no real explanation. Now, I'm clearly nitpicking, but the reason I brought this up is because it represents a majority of the issues I and most other people have with the series. The author simply does whatever the he wants. Instead of constructing actual rules that the characters and the story have to operate within, he just manipulates the game mechanics, or just throws in a little deus ex machina to get whatever emotional or cool moment he wants in the story. Like in episode 6, when Kirito and Asuna solve this absolutely boring murder mystery, and the ghost of one of the victims just appear right in front of them. You can do that kind of shit if your story is set in real life, but nigga, we in a game. You remember when I told you I loved the first few episodes? I take that back. I just really liked them. The sheer amount of useless characters, the cringe moments, and all the wish fulfillment just keep me from loving it. But as I said, I did enjoy the early parts. Episode 1 did a great job of giving us a roadmap and setting the stakes, and the world building that preceded was just amazing. It's kind of this thing where, since it's known we're in the game, the author can use a lot of show don't tell, or just bring elements into the story without it always seeming random. They have guilds and players have classes, and there's a system for when players commit crimes. We have PK guilds or even a prison in the game. I know there's tons of people who hate on SAO. Well, come on, man. You can't tell me you wouldn't play this shit. At this point, things were a little iffy, but SAO hadn't taken that massive dip in quality that would soon make it the most hated anime. Even though episodes 4, 5, 6, and 7 are boring as all hell, I still don't think this was the nail in the coffin for SAO. Call me crazy, but I still had hope after he fought Gleameyes. I mean, it wasn't perfect, but this right here, this is what we came for. However, the levels of fuckery that would proceed in the next few episodes had me watching this shit in 1.5x. Kirito challenges Heathcliff to a 1v1 with the goal of freeing Asuna from her duties. However, if he loses, he has to join the guild.
Not yet! Give it time! Now's my chance!
So Heathcliff is actually Kaiba in disguise, and he used the system to win the battle before things got too out of hand. Now, besides the fact that Kirito is so godly that he forced the literal creator to cheat, I want you to remember that Kaiba has active control over the system at all times. Skipping this part where Kirito almost died, we got the two lovebirds on their honeymoon trip where they run into this random child in the woods. And what do you think they decide to do with it?
Okay. I'm Mommy. That works. Mommy! Mommy! Daddy! You must be hungry. How about breakfast? Okay.
Yes, why not adopt the random forest child? Her name is Yui. Asuna and Kirito decide to take Yui back to the town of beginnings to see if anyone knows who she is.
Leave those children alone!
Look! It's the daycare bitch!
We've been waiting for you!
Well, damn. So they saved the daycare lady and these kids because these losers was trying to rob them. And after confirming back at the orphanage that she definitely does not know Yui, later the next day, this lady, who's in the same guild as these thugs, asked Asuna and Kirito to save her friend from a trap in the dungeon. Now, this is where I kind of realized the author just didn't care anymore. They're suspicious of her at first, but they decide to trust her because Yui said so. Then they also decide to bring Yui just because she really wanted to go. And this is why teenagers should not adopt kids. These two idiots are willing to bring her into a dungeon where there could be a trap waiting for them because they truly have no real reason to trust this lady. Or there could be an extremely strong monster that just kills the both of them. Oh wow, shocker.
Daddy? Mommy? It's okay. An immortal object.
That right there is a prime example of terrible writing. This is already ridiculous, don't get me wrong, but since the catalyst of the entire situation is horrendously stupid, it makes everything 10 times worse. The only reason Yui was allowed to go into the dungeon is because the author needed to do his shitty reveal. It's this kind of, I guess, writing style that just, whatever. It turns out Yui was just an AI created to be like a mental health aid for the players. However, the system restricted her access, so all she could do for these 2 years is just watch as everyone suffered. And apparently, she always wanted to meet Asuna and Kirito because they're the only players who actually found peace within the game. Isn't that so sweet, guys? Round of applause. But I got some bad news. She says her goodbyes because in the act of destroying that monster, she went against the system, which is a big no-no, and she will be erased. But no, our genius hacker protagonist Kirito will not let this happen. This nigga proceeds to access the game files from within the game to archive Yui's save data on his nerve gear and make it an item. Come on, man, what are we really talking about? More than anything I dislike about SAO, I hate Kirito. This man is worse than the goddamn Antichrist. I think it makes me angrier because he's the original blueprint for the stereotypical white knight isekai protagonist who can do whatever the plot demands. I hate the original and I hate the copies. You niggas got no swag. The two of them are summoned back to the front lines because it's time for another boss fight. And this thing is hideous. Ugh, nigga, do you kiss your mama? After they kill the boss and everyone collapses in exhaustion, we finally get the big reveal.
Yes, I am Akihiko Kayaba. And now that my identity's been revealed, it should come as no surprise that I am the final boss on the top floor.
Remember I told you to keep that duel in mind? It's because that's apparently Kirito's evidence for uncovering Kayaba's identity. Now this makes me ask so many questions. First of all, if he's been using the system to avoid his HP going yellow this entire time, how did none of the high level guild members he fights with basically every boss raid not notice? Also, why does it say immortal object? I'm certain he can turn it on and off, but it doesn't make sense why he turned it on after a boss fight. Now, you could make the argument that Kirito surprised him and he just did it to protect himself, but at the same time, he's literally been shown to abuse the game's mechanics and basically freeze time, so I'm hard pressed to believe Kirito actually surprised him. The problem here is kind of similar to the Yui reveal. Since the catalyst for the entire scene just seems kind of fabricated within the realm of the game, it's kind of hard to enjoy anything good that could happen without constantly questioning what the f. Moving on, Kirito and Kayaba begin their battle to clear the game, and the fight starts pretty even, but Kirito loses his cool and he's getting clapped. Luckily for him, Asuna somehow fights through the paralysis and takes the hit for her man. I'm thinking Kirito finna get up and do something about it. He just killed your girl right in front of you, gang. You cannot let him have that. But no, he's a pussy.
Not yet. Not yet.
If I had one scene to encapsulate my answer to the overarching question this video aims to answer, it would be this. This moment is never really explained, and I don't even think there's an explanation that would make this make sense. Kirito kills Kayaba, which clears the game and frees the remaining players. We get a moment of him meeting Asuna again before Kayaba appears and they ask him the obvious question.
Why did you do this?
That's a good question. It's been so long, I've forgotten the reason.
I know Kayaba stated that he did it to control a world of his own, but for the main antagonist to conclude the arc with him basically saying he forgot his motivations is just not good writing. Now, I could go into the Alfheim arc, but I think it's pretty pointless. If I'm being real, SAO was already terrible by this point, but yes, it does get worse. Kirito decides to go into another game less than 3 months after clearing SAO. Asuna gets held hostage by this guy that's so evil. He tells her he's gonna violate her in the virtual world, then go to her hospital room and do the same thing. Like, okay, buddy. And also, Kirito's sister slash cousin decides that she likes him a little more than family should, so you might as well throw some incest in there while we at it. In conclusion, SAO became so hated because it sucks. It built up an endless amount of expectation and failed to deliver on anything that could have made the story so special. Through absolutely boring episodes, a protagonist who's basically the progenitor of a trope most people hate, and endless poor writing decisions, there's definitely a reason why so many people hate this anime. Now, do I think it deserves to be the most hated? Nah, it's trash, but there's 100% definitely worse anime out there. SAO only gets so much hate because it's so damn popular. Anyway, drop me a like if you enjoyed the video and comment my slime if you made it this far. I'ma fuck with y'all boys.
Yeah, I'm over that, too over that. I'm over you. You break my heart, then I come back again and again. Shit so stupid, bitch. Tryna play me like a tool. I said fuck it now, I'm not playing by the rules. I said fuck it. I'm Janet Jackson in that spaceship, like I'm Michael Jackson. They go A shit. Walking in the patio.